Hey, 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 it's Tia, baby. And I am back with another video. So do not mind this rag on my head. I'm having a bad hair day. You know, we all have it sometimes. It is what it is. Before I get into this video, I am going to let everyone know I forgot that Chris' best friend and manager, Colito Miranda, reached out to me on one of my videos a couple of weeks ago when I was talking about the dictator. And this is the article that I'm going to read. I think this is what he was, leading up to, because he stated in his comment that the dictator will get what he deserves and that Chris will get what he rightfully deserves. So maybe this is what he was talking about. So this article, I'm going to read the article in its entirety, and then I'm going to give my brief commentary on everything that it represents. So I hope you guys are ready for it. So this article is called Attorneys Fight for Financial Records and Year-Long Battle Over Selena's Estate. So this court case is going to be against the dictator and versus Chris Perez. So I'm going to read it, and the article was by Eric De La Garza. And the summary, I'm going to read the summary really quick, and then I'm going to go into the article. More than 25 years after her murder, a 1995 agreement dividing the net profits from Selena's estate between her guitarist husband and family band members has taken center stage in a lawsuit pitting her father and husband against each other. All right, so let's get into the video. Oh, and this article was sent to me from a supporter from Instagram. So thank you to her. All right, so the sudden death of Tejano superstar Selena began to hint at simmering tensions between her father, the dictator, and her husband, Chris Perez. The real-life family drama involving the late singer's estate is unfolding in a Corpus Christi courtroom with the latest series of rulings Tuesday. So this happened in the beginning of this month. More than 25 years after her murder, Selena's fortune and 1995's estate properties agreements dividing the net profits from her estate between her guitarist husband and family band members have become forefront and center in a lawsuit spurred by Perez's 2012 book, To Selena with Love. If you have not read that book, check it out. I also was told that some of my supporters wanted me to read the chapters, like do videos and reading to you guys the chapters in English, because some people are doing it in Spanish. If you want me to read a chapter per video for those that don't have the book or cannot afford the book, give me a thumbs up in this video or comment below in this video. And now acts deal 4 years later to transform into a television series. Dictator 81 says both deals are an unauthorized exploitation of the agreement, which doled out 25% of the estate's net profits between Perez, Quintanilla, and siblings A.B. Quintanilla III and Suzette Quintanilla, who as children in 1981 joined their youngest sister to form Selena y Los Dinos with their father as manager. Dictator claims in court documents to be the exclusive owner of all rights to the entertainment properties, including the rights to the author or authorize a television production commercially exploiting the name, image, and likeness of Selena. And that is exactly what his former son-in-law was trying to do, according to Dictator, whose December 2016 lawsuit came the same month that Perez and Ademo Shine North America announced details of Perez's TV project, and just as Suzette Quintanilla was marketing her own idea for a television show. Netflix eventually greenlighted Selena the series, with Suzette Quintanilla listed as an executive producer. Part 2 of the Netflix series is scheduled to premiere May 14th on the streaming service. Perez's attorney, James E. Pennington of Richmond, Texas, argued at a hearing on Tuesday revolving around the production of financial documents that the guitarist was still in a state of shock and mourning in the weeks following his wife's tragic murder when he signed the agreement. Perez's legal team has claimed in court filings that the documents dictator approach Perez to sign, supposedly to prevent piracy, should be invalidated. Because Mr. Perez was basically defrauded into entering into that agreement ought to go away, Pennington said Tuesday. Pennington is Perez's attorney. Perez, 51, who married Selena against her father's wishes on April 2nd, 1992, claimed in a counter complaint that the family's patriarch's deceit voided the agreement and that he should be free to share details of his marriage however he chooses. But if the agreement is deemed to be valid, Perez is demanding a full accounting of all payments from the estate that he is entitled to, as he should. Claims seeking to terminate the agreement, which he profited from, are clearly time barred by the 4-year statute of limitations in Texas. According to Dictator's attorney, Thomas Richards, a partner with the Beverly Hills law firm Sy and Trubin, who added that Perez can't have it both ways. You can't either. Nucas County Judge David Stith ordered Perez to hand over bank statements for the past 7 years, reflecting with all sources of income, both professionally and personally. Dictator's attorneys have requested bank statements dating back to 1995, which became a source of argument Tuesday after Perez's attorney said statements reflecting from 2004 to present were all he could find. A trailblazing icon in the Mexican-American community who broke gender and ethnic barriers to achieve remarkable fame just as her life was cut short at 23 years old. Selena is as revered and relevant as ever more than 25 years after her murder. And it's not just for her cumbia-inspired dance moves and catalog of mega hits like Como la Flor, Dreaming of You, and No Me Queda Más that has attracted a new generation of fans. The creation of college courses exploring her life and collections of her collections of music to include an upcoming Lifetime Achievement Award to be presented at this year's Grammys ceremonies in March. Her crossover appeal, status as a trend-setting role model, and a symbol of Latino success have all translated into lucrative deals with her death. After her death, from Selena tribute albums to various merchandising and licensing partnerships, including a popular line of MAC cosmetic products, dolls, mugs, and apparel items. And the 1997 biopic named after Selena that grossed $35 million was nominated last year by the Congressional Hispanic Caucus for inclusion into the National Film Registry for 2021. If Perez is successful at having the agreement rescinded, it could open the door to the treasure trove of never before shared stories about his marriage with the Queen of Tejano before she was tragically murdered in a Corpus Christi hotel by her fan club president in the midst of a dispute over money and, ironically, financial records. A trial date is scheduled for June 15 in Nucas County Court, and mediation talks in April are not successful. Stith declined to rule on a request from Dictator's attorneys to limit the scope of his disposition to exclude any of Perez's contracts claiming related to the 1995 agreement. The judge said he will make himself available on the date of Dictator's disposition to make instant rulings on any attorney objections. Asking Mr. Dictator about events from 1995 on time-barred claims is the definition of unduly burdensome, harassing, and annoying, Richards said. adding that while his client isn't facing any serious issues, he will turn 82 on February 20th, which is actually in a couple of days. Happy birthday, Dictator. Early birthday. Mr. Pennington mentions that Mr. Perez was grieving well for Mr. Dictator. This is a very difficult time period to revisit as well, the attorney added. So that's all with the article. So now I'm going to give my take on everything. So like I've been saying for the longest in all of my videos, that he is going to reap what he sowed, meaning the dictator is going to reap what he sowed, because he deceived Chris Perez. I said that several times. I said he manipulated Chris into signing that document because he rushed. He waited 2 months, not even 2 months, a month after she was buried, a month, early May, and hand over documents to Chris to sign over his rights. He knew what he was doing. He knew that Chris was grieving. He knew that he was in shock, that he was distraught. And he used his vulnerability to sign over his rights, because at that time, Chris was not in the right state of mind. So he wasn't even thinking about, and I said this before, he wasn't even thinking about money and attorneys and all of that, because that doesn't matter right now, because he lost the most precious thing that mattered to him. That's what mattered to him, especially at that moment. And he used that, the dictator used that against him just so he can have what he wanted, which was money, the fame, the fortune. So now that years later, Chris is, he's well put together, and he realized how much this man manipulated him. He wants to get what he rightfully deserves, because in the interview that he did with the radio personality that he's friends with, he stated that he was broke. Back in 2014, around that time, he was broke. Like, he didn't have no money. He only had enough to pay child support, but he didn't have no money for like other things. And then at one point he was homeless. Like, he had to live with his friend Carlito for a while because he wasn't making enough money at the time, and he wasn't receiving the royalties that he deserved as Selena's husband. So he been fighting this battle with them for a very long time. So that's why I said that Carlito was talking about this upcoming case, or this case that, now Chris has a backbone, and he's ready to get what he deserves, and hopefully he does, because he deserves it. He did nothing wrong to the dictator. He said nothing but great things about him in the media, about their family in the media, regardless of how much that family disrespect him, and regardless of how much that family turned their backs on him. He always respected that family. He always gave the dictator the utmost respect. And for him to do this and knowingly do this and didn't do that back then was wrong. I don't know how that man sleeps at night. And like I said in another video, that he's older. How much money do you need? How much money do you need? You basically lived your life. What do you want? Why are you constantly trying to make this man's life miserable? Like, let him have what he deserved. You cheated him out on funds for 25 years. For 25 years. Then in the article it states that it was basically piracy or unauthorized when he made that book, Selena with Love, and then he was going to do a series. But like I said before, and I did a whole video on it, you made an unauthorized series about Selena on Netflix because that wasn't your idea. That was someone else's idea, and that's why you were sued for it. Now, I don't know the status of that court case. I don't know if it's pending. I don't know if they made an agreement. I don't know, but that was unauthorized because you stole somebody else's idea and made it into your own, according to the guy that he allegedly spoken with years ago. But hey, I guess he's the dictator. Dictators usually do get what they want. But I really, really hope that this court case is successful. I hope that Chris gets everything he deserves. I hope he gets all the royalties. I hope they tear up that document that he signed 25 years ago so he can actually give the world, share the world the stuff that we never knew about. That we can actually see what we read in that book that he wrote years ago. And hopefully we can see pictures that he never shown, or maybe even home videos. Maybe they had home videos and he has stored away but couldn't show because of the dictator and because of what the dictator had on him. So hopefully maybe we can see, home videos and maybe love letters and all of that. I hope all of that will be in the series when he makes it. Because I said when, because it's going to happen. I really feel like he's going to win this case because he manipulated that man. The dictator manipulated that man back then. He knew exactly what he was doing. And this is what pisses me off, because Suzette was once close to Chris. Suzette will appear to be close to Chris. She, took recently, but she took pictures with Chris and Carlito and all of them like they were really, really cool. And even she had his back during that tribute to Selena back in 2008, where Chris, showed up on stage. I believe he was intoxicated. She held him. She held his back to make sure he didn't stumble over. She had his back. I don't know what happened after that. Why she turned her back on him. Why she's acting like a minion to the dictator. But I know that's her father. I know that, that's unconditional love. But what's right is right. If you know that your dad is not making good decisions, then you need to speak on that, period. But hey, maybe that all these years she wanted or yearned for her father's affection, his love, and she probably wasn't getting that, due to Selena's fame and fortune and, all of the attention. So maybe Selena was getting all the attention that she wanted, that she probably wanted or missed out on. I don't know, but maybe it's an inferiority complex, something like that. I think that's the right terminology. I don't know. But yeah, something, because I don't understand why she's like a miniature version of him. And, people have said in the comments before that basically he may have to wait until the dictator passes away in order to get what he deserves. I don't even think, now that I'm thinking about it, I really don't think that it's going to change because of Suzette. I think she's going to be the next dictator. If, Lord forbid, something happens to the actual dictator, she's going to take over and act just like, she's already acting like him. She's going to make sure that nothing changes. So I don't even think it matters if he were to pass away or not, because Suzette is the next in line. But hopefully this case becomes successful and we don't have to worry about that, and that he gets what he deserves, and that they just leave him alone and let him be. Because it's like, why are you preventing him to share his marriage? It's between two people, Chris and Selena. He has every right to talk about his marriage. He has every right to do a show or movie about his marriage to Selena. Maybe that's therapeutic for him. Maybe that's a way for him to, move past what has happened. Maybe he needs this. They need to think about that. Like, put your personal feelings aside and think about him, because they didn't lose a spouse. Neither one of them did. They all have their spouses at home. He doesn't. And he lived with that for 25 years. Put yourself in his shoes if you can and empathize with him. And, you know, maybe this is therapeutic for him and he needs this. Because I'm sure, Lord forbid, if something were to happen to one of their spouses, they would have want that same support and he would have gave it to them. But hey, we shall see come June 15th when, you know, everything prevails. Hopefully. All right, so that's my take on it. I will be back with another video next week. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Peace.